I mean, at the same time, Ambassador, we're talking about, I mean, when I think we're apt to lose sight of the fact when we talk about hostages being released, etc., etc. But these people, 85-year-old women, kids, 9-year-old boys shoved on motorbikes. These people were kidnapped by Hamas, which I understand you're not going to, I mean, you don't approve of in any shape or form. But we are really talking here about people who were kidnapped being released by their kidnappers.
Well, Richard, I have to challenge you here and say that while good on you that you mention these hostages, and good that they are released, they should be released, I mean the Israeli hostages. But why didn't you ask me about the Palestinian hostages, the children that have been released today, that have been in Israeli prisons before the 7th of October? You know, we have hundreds of Palestinian children being grounded by Israel over years and years without charge, without trial, without access to lawyer or to their own families and parents. This is really unconscionable. It doesn't even belong to our today and our humanity. And therefore, this is a time to really focus on the overall system of segregation, of oppression. And you know what? It's so telling. It's so telling that much of the international media is really focusing on the 50
All right,
Israeli...
Ambassador, just a minute. The reason why is simple. First of all, I was coming on to the Palestinians.
Yeah, tell me the reason, Richard. Tell me the reason.
Sure, because when we look at the pictures of how those people were kidnapped, old elderly women thrown over motorbikes, screaming, taken over the border, shoved down tunnels, kept in dark. There is a quantitative and qualitative difference in the mode of detention between the two.
I'll tell you what's the difference. I'll really tell you what's the difference. The difference is the first is done by individuals, but the second is done by a state that sponsored an army. The army invades the innocent people's houses in the middle of the night, in the early hours of the morning, wake up these children in the most terrifying manner.
So the argument you're advancing is...
You asked me, I'll answer you. It is disgraceful to even draw any equity between a state that is a member of the UN, that is Israel, and its responsibility under international law, and between individuals. So in fact, the lack of equity is to focus on responsible, between parentheses, actors that they should perform in full accordance of international law.
You've answered.